Rumors is pretty much this really nice comedy about these couples that they kind of get in this awkward situation, and it's just a lot of going back and forth, and they're very angry. Let's just say they're very angry and very upset at the situation they're put in, and it's hilarious. It's just hilarious. I don't know how else to describe it. It's hilarious. My character's name is Glenn Cooper. He's this guy. He's running for the state senate. He's a little uppity. He thinks he's ahead of where he's really at. But he's really funny, and I think he's a really genuine guy. He's just kind of like I said, uppity. You're gonna have a blast. You're gonna have a blast. You're gonna think this is one of the funniest things you've ever seen. We have a great cast lined up, ready to do great work, great direction. Jeff Clapp, he's amazing. It's gonna be spectacular. So you should come, because if you want to see something spectacular, you should come. No, it's as simple as that. It's just amazing. It's been a blessing to be able to be a part of it and work with all these wonderful kids and the wonderful directors and be a part of this experience.
Rumors is a play by Neil Simon. Neil Simon is probably the most popular and most prolific playwright of the 20th century. Neil Simon got his bones, as it were, in the Phil Silvers show and Sid Caesar's show as a writer. And then he became a playwright and very prolific. But the critics didn't much care for him because he was just this comedian. Until he wrote Lost in Yonkers, where he won a Pulitzer Prize. And his trilogy, Brighton Beach Memoirs, Biloxi Blues, and Broadway Bound, he really gained a lot of notoriety for those works. This play, however, is just sort of harkening back to the Sid Caesar and Phil Silvers show. It's just a bunch of one-liners. It's fast. The characters aren't deep. They're just kind of, in some ways mean, in some ways selfish, in some ways goofy. But the situation is something has happened. We think maybe somebody killed them or tried to kill themselves, and we're at a dinner party, and people keep showing up, and we keep trying to tell the story in ways that won't let out the real truth, because they don't know the real truth. And it's character based in the sense that you have sort of iconic characters, but they just they don't tell each other the truth, and then the comedy ensues. It's a slamming door farce. Lots of running up and down stairs, lots of doors slamming here and there. It's essentially situational comedy. I picked the show because in any given theater season, we have to have at least one comedy. So what we try to do at PLU Theater is one musical, one kind of classical or at least close to classical. As far as the faculty shows, I can talk about student shows later. And one, let's just lighten it up a little bit and entertain. I wouldn't say this play is going to, it's not like this heavy, you're going to be educated by anything here. No, this is just a slamming door funny farce. I always liked it, and I was the technical director in 1998 when we did this production, and designer. And I've always enjoyed the story, and I felt like, well, there's been enough time. It's like 4 generations of PLU students. They won't remember it. Let's do it again. So we chose to do this show. What I guess we're going to talk about unique, what's different about this show is that my mentor, Bill Beckfar, directed the show in 1998. He just passed 4 weeks ago. And ironically, we're dedicating this production to him. Bill was the artistic director of theater for 25 years here. I was a student of his, I became a colleague of his, and it's kind of neat that we were doing the show when he passed. I think people should come just because, it's a good laugh. It's a good ride. It's well written. It's wonderfully acted. It's just you can watch something on television and kind of go, ha, ha, ha. But when you come into the theater and you see some, you know, even if we're on television, you can go, ha, ha, ha. But you come into the theater with a large group of people out there, and these actors are running around on stage, you're not going to go, ha, ha, ha. You're going to just laugh your face off.